Good morning. So today I just want to read a little bit out of the Bible and relate it to my own personal story. I just want to start off by saying that so I'm an alcoholic and an addict, and so I struggle with heroin, meth, and alcohol addiction. And um, and right here in the book of Isaiah, he prophesizes about men who have those certain types of afflictions. And I'm going to be reading out of Isaiah chapter 3, verse 25, and also Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it says, "And branding instead of beauty, young men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty ones in war." Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about World War II. I'm not talking about the Vietnam War, the war in Ukraine. Even though this relates to that, you know, yeah, there is a lot that could be said about um, our men, our strong men dying in war. That's what Isaiah was prophesying about. I'm talking more about the spiritual warfare because that is also true. Um, when that takes place in life, uh, the spiritual warfare, you feel conflicted, you feel afflicted, um, you feel double-minded. I know for me, like I felt like my heart was being compelled to two different things, and that's where I want to come into Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. In no way, shape, or form is being a drunk good. In no way, shape, or form is being a junkie good. Um, you know, of course, there's reasons why, I ended up how I did, but but back to this being conflicted, I felt like my heart was being pulled in two different directions, the direction of God and the direction of evil. So my mind, to go in the direction of evil, I would have to make justifications, and I would have to, in my own conceit, make things good that are evil, and and just and twist up the narrative into a narrative of wickedness. Um, and that's where it says, "Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes." Man, every time I relapse, it's because I tend to be wise in my own conceit. And if anyone's familiar with AA, that's where you come back to a step one experience um, where you have to be honest with yourself and you have to admit that you're powerless. Um, but anything other than sobriety um, would be me trying to be wise in my own conceit, would be me trying to call evil good and good evil. It would be me um, falling by the sword in this war. Um, and so it goes to say on Isaiah chapter 5, verse 22, woe to men, woe to men mighty at drinking wine, woe to men valiant for mixing intoxicating drink. Um, woe to the woe who justify the wicked, who justify the wicked for a bribe and take away justice from the righteous man. So what it's saying is, and from personal experience, when I drink or I use drugs, I'm not just hurting myself. There's ramifications to my actions, and it can be said who am I hurting? I'm not hurting anybody, so why does it matter? No, you are hurting people, because anybody, if you have a family member or if you yourself have gone through this, you know that there's ramifications. You know that after a while of drinking, after a while of being in the devil's playground, you're gonna have to do things, or you're gonna do things um, that that you cannot be proud of. Um, that's why it says, "Who justify the wicked for a bribe." The bribe right there is the intoxicating feeling. I mean, who justify the wicked? Um, whether it's your actions that you're trying to justify, whether it's you know the setting that you're trying to justify, like a bar, you're trying to say that, oh yeah, I meet new people, I hang out with my friends in the bar, and nothing but wickedness happens in bars and strip clubs, and you know and if you're like me and you're the type who you just were an isolator and you drink by yourself, then you know then you're trying to justify yourself with this mixing of wine and becoming intoxicated and using drugs. You know and it goes on to say, therefore, as the fire uh, devours the stubble and the flame consumes the shaft, so their roots will be as rottenness and their blossom will ascend like the dust. What are the consequences to drinking? The consequences is a generational curse. If you have kids, your kids are more likely to become alcoholics. The consequences are drinking and driving. You get in a car accident and you kill somebody, and you have to spend the rest of your life in jail. Uh, the consequences is, or is overdoses. Um, so the root will be as rottenness, and their blossom will ascend like the dust. The Lord is saying literally that He is gonna, um, He is going to, He is going to take away our root from the earth. Um, but I know that there is hope, because you know, for me personally, like, ever since I found God, I've been able to stay sober. It hasn't been easy. I still struggle with temptation, but I follow God, and so therefore, I believe that you know that God has redeemed me, and He has made it to where I'm not going to perish in the way that you know members of my family have perished, in the way that people in this world have perished from drugs and alcohol. You know, um, and Isaiah was saying it clearly right here when he wrote this. The Lord showed him. Because people, this could have been relevant to the people back then, and it could still be relevant to people nowadays. And the the same is true for the effects that drugs and alcohol carry, not only for yourself but the people around you. Um, it, it's so important that we find God. It's so important that we submit ourselves to His will, because otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to die an alcoholic death. You're going to die from an overdose. You're going to lose your mind from the drugs. You're going to burn everything down that you built up. You're going to continue to have a bad relationship with your kids. Your parents, they're still not going to talk to you. Your wife, she's going to leave you. She's going to find somebody else. But all that doesn't have to happen. It does not have to happen. And but that's all I got today. The chapters were Isaiah 3 verse 25, and then Isaiah 5 20 through 24. Thank you.